So self-doubt and unworthiness are two things that I know a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of my clients, when they come to me, these are major things that are holding them back. So self-doubt is that, no matter what it is you're doing, you feel like you're not good enough, or like you're struggling and kind of anxious and feeling like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be good enough. I don't know, like, if I'm the right person for the job. I don't know if I'm going to get the results that they wanted, or oh, that person probably won't like me because I'm not smart enough, pretty enough, good enough, whatever, right? It's all about the enoughs. You don't feel like you're good enough. And that self-doubt can kill you and keep you stuck. And unworthiness kind of goes hand in hand, and that is usually created, both of these are created from childhood, but unworthiness also keeps you stuck in limiting patterns and in cycles and places that you don't really deserve, because you feel like you don't deserve any better. And especially if you have gone through any kind of trauma or any kind of major life-changing experiences, and you created a belief that you were unworthy or undeserving, and you created this belief that like you don't deserve anything better, and maybe you deserved what negative piece happened to you, that unworthiness is going to keep you in those cycles and keep you attracting more of it. So both self-doubt and unworthiness go hand in hand, and they can really keep you stuck and in these vicious cycles of things that you don't really want to experience. So I want to share 3 tips right now to help you kill your self-doubt, kill your unworthiness. And these are 3 questions you're going to ask yourself anytime you have that feeling set in. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, where did it come from? Where did this feeling come from? Because immediately when you ask yourself that, you might realize, like, you might have a flashback to an experience 2 years ago in a different job, or an experience as a child, and you're gonna have a similar feeling. And so when you connect that together, you realize, okay, this self-doubt or this unworthiness is actually reflecting back to me something that happened a long time ago. It's not necessarily that I'm fully feeling this emotion for this event right now. There's a bigger piece that's holding me back, and a bigger thing that's keeping me stuck. So number 1, write it down, is ask yourself, where did this come from? And then number 2 is to ask yourself, is it true? Because a lot of times what we don't realize about the mind is that it's looking for things that reflect it. It's looking for things that are easy and that reaffirm what it believes. So if you have continued to feel unworthy and you feel like you're not good enough day in and day out all the time, your mind is going to think that it's true. But when you stop, you ask your questions and you go, is this true? You can actually go, you know what? Like, no. Like, if you're feeling like I'm not good enough in my job, and then you ask yourself, is this true? That stops the thought pattern in its tracks. That allows you to really look at it and go, you know what? I am really good at my job. I know I can do this, but I just am a little bit afraid because of ... You can understand what it is that's actually creating this feeling, instead of feeling like the feeling itself is you and it's 100% true and valid. So that's question number 2. And then question number 3 that you want to ask yourself is it helping me? Because sometimes these thoughts are actually helping us, and we can use them to empower ourselves and move forward stronger. But sometimes the thoughts aren't helping, and they're just going to bring us down into the rabbit hole. They're going to set off a spiral of unworthiness, self-doubt, even more anxiety or fear, and more criticism towards ourselves. So when you realize these 3 things, you're allowing yourself to stop that feeling in its tracks and really reconnect and look at what's important from this situation. So if there's something going on at work or something in a relationship and you're starting to feel unworthy, or you question yourself and your abilities, when you stop that thought and you ask yourself, okay, where did this come from? Number 1, that's going to help you realize it's something bigger than just this moment right now. And that helps you step out of the moment and out of the overwhelm to look at the bigger picture. Then you're going to look at number 2, okay, is it true? And then you're going to go, No. I think 95% of the time it's not true. It's just our mind creating this big spiral of beliefs that's so overwhelming. It's like this catastrophic thinking, and it keeps us stuck there. But you ask yourself, is it true? Helps you, again, push it aside and go, you know what? That's not really true. Or maybe just like one little piece of it is true, and that's something I can actually focus on. And then it can help you. And then number 3, ask yourself, is this helping me? Is it helping me to feel like I'm not good enough? Is it helping me perform better at work when I feel like I'm not good enough? Is it helping me show up as like who I truly feel I am in my relationship if I'm doubting myself all the time? It's probably not helping you. So those 3 questions are going to allow you to really take your power back, regain some control, regain a little bit more confidence and just clarity over the situation, so that then you can actually act from a different place. So I hope you wrote those 3 down and start applying them, and you will notice major shifts with that. But I also just want to give a little disclaimer, and that is that this awareness isn't going to totally solve the problem, and there are still going to be underlying issues. There's still going to be years of self-doubt or years of unworthiness that have built up, and you're still going to have that like bubbling brook, like whatever you call it, inside you, that inner turmoil, because you haven't released fully. So these 3 steps aren't going to necessarily help you release and be like walking on rainbows all of a sudden, because there's still a lot of underlying issues, whether it's from trauma and insecurities or just past struggles or a lot of negative beliefs that have been created. Those things are still going to be there, but asking yourself these 3 questions is going to help you separate yourself in the moment so that you can take a little bit more control. So anytime you start to feel that unworthiness or that self-doubt creep in, these 3 questions can help you regain control in the moment, so that you can kind of take what you need, push away what you don't need, and then start to create a new situation or a new way of handling it, instead of just being totally caught up in the overwhelm, in the catastrophic thinking that's going to end up leading you further away from where it is you want to be. So use these 3 steps. They'll help you create some awareness for sure, and they will definitely help you to make some strides in the present moment.